Good morning. How are you? I am okay. It is Thursday, June the 7th? Let me bring you guys down a little bit. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, and I am your host of Motivation and Muscles with Maya Ting. We have a couple of co-hosts. Already drank my smoothie. I put some Metamucil in here. Is that Metamucil? What is that? It's another fiber. I'll just put a cap for, what is that called? I can't remember. It's over there and I can't see it. So I put like a half of a cap full of the fiber powder in my smoothie. About a cup and a half of pineapple juice and a cup full of mango. That is it. I need to go ahead today in my travels and find a plain, unflavored protein that I can put in here. That's what I really need to do. Maybe that will be on the agenda today. I don't know. So I'm done drinking that. And right now I am sipping on some hot tea. I have 2 tea bags in here. One's an arnica tea and the other one is a ballerina tea. I'm going to be pooping today, y'all. Metamucil and Miralax. That's what's in there. Miralax. It doesn't it doesn't change the taste of your beverage. And then I'm drinking a it's going to be a mess today. I need to stay close to home anyway. We're not talking about pooping. We're talking about 5 minutes of mindfulness with Maya, or 5 mindful minutes with Maya. Today I have no notes. I have nothing. But what was laid on my heart today, or this morning, was the word healing, recovery, recovering. That's what I want to talk about. We all suffer from some kind of trauma, whether it be from childhood or whether it be from, from something that's happened as early as this morning or yesterday, or just something that has consumed you and has left a negative footprint in your mind. And when you think of that thing, you become triggered, right? And when I think of this, I think of all of the stuff that I've been through with my youngest daughter. Now, my oldest daughter really didn't take me through too much, but that baby girl, the short of the long is she literally took me to hell from when she turned 14 all the way up to about 17. It was about a good 3 or 4 year stint that I just was like, is she gonna live or am I gonna live? But both of us can't live. So it just was a very traumatic time. There was a lot of sneaking out the house, getting with a boyfriend. It just was so much that I really wish I can tell you everything, but I won't, because it's not my story to tell, at least from her perspective. I can only tell it from my perspective, but just for privacy reasons. If she ever wanted to get on this good YouTube and share what she's been through, she can. So I'm not going to tell you all the nitty gritty details, but it was a lot. Police were called. It just missing from school. It just was a lot. And another reason why I'm not going to go into detail is because I don't want to be re-triggered. I don't even want to test it, right? But anyway, she decided one day that she wanted to go to military school. And here in Georgia, there is a free military school that you can qualify for. It's called YCA. And so she filled out the application. She got all the references she needed from school, because at the time she was in the 9th grade, 10th grade, something like that. So she was accepted. She had to go through an interview process. She was accepted. So that meant that she would be gone for about 5 or 6 months, which was a blessing because she needed to be away from me and I needed to be away from her. So we get her everything that she needs to go. And my mom and I, we drop her off. And yeah, so I think it might have been like month 3. I get a phone call. Now she, depending on her behavior, which for the most part she has good behavior, but depending on her behavior at the military school, she could, gain privileges. And one of the privileges would be to call me, right? Or call her grandma, or call whoever she wanted to call, but mainly it was family. So I remember she called me. Well, the number from YCA popped up, so I assumed it was her. So I answered the phone. I said, hello, and it was a guy. It was her commander, because YCA is military based, not a specific, like Navy, Army. It's not specific. It's just military, where they had military uniforms, but not specific to a branch. That's what I'm trying to say. But like her commander, her lead, whoever he was, he calls me. He's like, is Miss Mayya there? And I'm like, this is she. And he's like, I just want to let you know we're having some issues out of Bird, and we're going to have to kick her out. And I remember feeling in my chest, my chest was closing in on itself. We're talking about implosion. Like I was really just, and I remember my husband and I were living at the apartment, and I remember looking out of the back door window, just staring out. Because by kicking her out, that means she did something that she wasn't supposed to do. And number two, she was coming home and I wasn't ready, right? And I'm just full transparency here. And I can feel fear, worry, oh my goodness, when is this gonna ever end? You name it, I felt it. And I remember hearing, and I didn't respond to him, but I remember hearing the guy say, Mayya, you there? And I was like, yeah. So then in the background, I hear my daughter Bird laughing. And then he starts to laugh. And it was a prank. But the crazy part is when the students go to this YCA, this military school, the teachers, the people in charge, the staff, they are not privy to the main reason as to why they are there. They don't know all the, the nitty-gritty details. And although it was a innocent prank, it almost gave me a heart attack. And I didn't tell him that, but what I did say was, oh my goodness, I laughed it off and I said, wow, but on a serious part, you don't even know why she's there. Like, and so I spoke to my daughter, we laughed a little bit, and I told her I almost had a heart attack. But when we got off the phone, I had to really inhale and exhale. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried. Because although the prank was innocent, it drummed up some major emotions within me. And I say I was imploding because those emotions felt like they had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. So, with that being said, how I get through dealing with trauma. Let me first say this. This is my opinion. I am not a doctor. I do have an associate's degree in business. I have a bachelor's degree in human services. And I also have a master's in counseling psychology. So I know just a little bit. Just a little bit. Plus, I was working under a social worker at my school for about 5-6 years. So I was in the role of social work. So I know just a little bit. And just experience having gone through trauma myself and having to deal with them as an adult. All of these emotions, they just want to go somewhere and they can't find a landing pad. What I choose to do, how I try to work through my trauma, is to, number one, not ignore it. I don't ignore it. I don't wish it away into the cornfield. I deal with it. This is how I'm feeling right now. Like with the prank with my daughter. I chose, I'm going to deal with it. When I got off the phone, I dealt with it. I cried. It's like a purging. We're going to deal with it, okay? And then I had to ask myself, Mayya, why are you feeling this way? Why? What is going on? And I literally had this conversation. Yes, I had to ask myself questions. And yes, I had to answer myself, right? And I just reminded myself why I felt that way. And I said, you know what? It's okay. You have a right to feel that way. And thirdly, so first, we address it, right? We don't ignore it. We ask ourselves the question, why are we feeling that way? Let's dig a little bit deeper as to the why. And let's identify some things that maybe we haven't identified before. And last but not least, it was, okay, how are we going to move forward? What are we going to do? Right? I don't believe in just ignoring triggers. For example, when my mom passed away, she passed away at Southern Regional Hospital here in Atlanta. Well, it's in Riverdale. For the longest, I avoided the street that hospital is on. I avoided, my mom used to work for Home Depot for years. I avoided not just Home Depots, but the one that she worked at. You can only avoid for so long. I live in a home. I'm going to require things that only Home Depot or Lowe's have. So what are you going to do? Just not go? Have everything delivered to your house? No, you got to address some things, and it's okay in small steps, right? So acknowledge, address, and then last but not least, how are we going to move forward? In reference back to my daughter, I decided that I would have a conversation with her to let her know how I'm feeling. You know, because what was an innocent prank to them and to her was devastation for me. And she would never know it because I never had a conversation with her. And I had to call back and have a conversation with her, just to let her know this is why I felt the way I felt. So it's just 3 simple steps that I like to take. And a part of how we're going to move forward is also praying. Praying from or praying for release of that trigger. Because triggers can sometimes have you by the neck. Have you by the neck. And I'm in a season of my life where 2023 has not been kind, like I'm sure it has not been kind to you, right? But I am tired of being held captive and hostage by the things that bother me so much. I'm tired. It will not control me. It is not my God. It is a moment of time that a specific thing happened. So now I'm able to drive past the hospital without being triggered because I forced myself to go down that street. I now can go inside of a Home Depot and not be triggered in a negative way. I'm triggered more in a positive way, like, oh, this is where my mom used to work. I wonder if this associate knew my mom. Or it's a different type of trigger. It's the trigger of joy. It's the trigger of gratefulness. It's the trigger of change. Not changing just in me, but a perspective change. So I just wanted to talk to you about triggers today. I'm not above them. We all have them, whether we acknowledge them or not. But if we don't acknowledge them, they will rear its ugly head. So let's get ahead of that, right? So let's go ahead and focus on that. If you have anything to add, please add it. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's take 5 minutes to just refocus. All right. That's 5 minutes. I hope that you were able just to take out, a few minutes to just breathe and to focus and to be committed to having a good day, despite what happens around you, despite the triggers that pop up. I know it's hard. I get it. But it's something that we can do. And the best part is, you don't have to do it alone. You are a part of a fit fam who loves you and who cares about you, who sees you, acknowledges you, validates you, and values you. You are valued, you are needed, you are loved. And again, I gotta read it because I have it in my car and I have it here. You'll get through this. It won't be painless. It won't be quick. But God will use this mess for good. In the meantime, don't be foolish or naive, but don't despair neither. With God's help, you will get through this. And I have that card right here as a reminder. So, I will see you guys a little bit later because we do have our challenge, right? But I wanted to show you something. Speaking of my youngest daughter who gave me hell, right? She gave me something really funny last year for Christmas that I just went ahead and started working on like a whole year later. Wait. No, it was just this past December that she gave it to me. I thought it was the year before, but it wasn't. It was last year, 2022. Let me show you what she got me. My kids. It's a chia pet. And not just a chia pet, it's a Bob Ross. Do y'all know who Bob Ross is? Look at it. He was a white guy. I think he was white. But he had the perfect afro for a white guy. And he was an artist. He was a painter. And he used to paint. And he would talk and he had this soothing voice. And I used to watch him as a kid. He's like the first person who did ASMR. So I had to go ahead and fill this thing up full of water. And now in 3 or 4 days, this should start sprouting. These are chia seeds on the Bob Ross. So, okay. Yeah. But anywho, I'm gonna go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys a little bit later for the exercise challenge. And remember who you are and who you belong to. And act accordingly. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.